And the wine and the first pitch of tonight's ball game is in there for a called strike. So a rain delay of just about an hour and a half as we get underway tonight. And a line drive over the head of Cabrera at short in the left field. And Derek Jeter continues to get on base early in ball games. For Jeter, he is now 7 for his last 8 leading off the ball game.
Let's check out the Indians defense, brought to you by the Indians team shop at the Great Lakes Mall in Menor. DeRosa in left, Crow in center, Francisco in right. Peralta at third, Cabrera at short, Carroll is at second, Martinez at first, and Shopik behind the plate.
Umpiring crew tonight, Tim Cheetah will call the balls and strikes. The crew chief, Bob Davidson, is at first, Jeff Nelson at second, and Mark Carlson down at third. Pitch to Damon was low for ball one. Damon has been more like a middle-of-the-order type hitter of late. He's driven in 19 runs in his last 22 games.
Well, the Yankees, they're starting to fire on all cylinders offensively. They moved up to second in the league in runs scored. They have 266. They're first in home runs with 77. They're a very patient team. They're going to make you work. They're going to make you throw a lot of strikes.
Off the end of the bat, high pop, foul ground. Peralta might have room. No, he's out of room. Needed about 3 rows to be able to make that catch.
Well, you can see early, 15 and 17 through May 12th, and then 12 and 3. They had that 9-game winning streak. But you can see almost over 6 runs per ball game. The ERA came down, the bullpen ERA, and that was their problem as well. Earlier in the year is trying to get someone settled in there in that bullpen.
Missed inside. Well, those numbers that you just saw from the Yankees, they don't coincide exactly, but Alex Rodriguez came back on May 8th.
Right.
And most of those numbers are because of his impact on this lineup.
He certainly helped. That's
homered on
sure.
the first pitch he saw when he came back. Damon couldn't help himself. He strikes out 1 down here in the first.
Well, Cliff Lee didn't give him any swinging room, kept burying it in on him. And you will not see many swings like this from Johnny Damon. He just stayed right inside. Excellent pitch. I mean, in off the plate. He's not going to be able to handle it, and he thought it was close enough to swing at.
That'll bring up Mark Teixeira. Switch hitting first baseman. Looks at a ball up high. Mark Teixeira has had a lot of career success against Cliff Lee, batting .400. Only Manny Ramirez has a better career average against Cliff Lee.
Well, and Teixeira from the right side of the plate this year in 42 at-bats, hitting .381, and he's going to add to that on a broken bat.
And it's over near the line. It's going to allow Jeter to go all the way to third as Francisco throws it into the cutoff man. So Yankees at the corners with 1 out here in the first inning.
Well, the bat goes right off the end of the bat. Not a bad pitch by Cliff. But when you're going good, this is what happens. The barrel of the bat goes to third base. The ball goes into right field. So they will have runners at the corners now. And 1 out.
And Alex Rodriguez steps to the plate. And looks at a ball down low. A-Rod has already hit 7 home runs. And I just told you he came back on May 8th.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's helped Mark Teixeira, because he was struggling early in the year, felt like he had to go out and prove with that big contract that he signed. Now that A-Rod comes in there and just makes it easier for him, he complements everybody else in the lineup. That's one tough out. The guy that can leave the yard. Good change up there by Cliff.
A-Rod with 7 homers, 17 ribbies in his 19 games. since coming off the DL on May the 8th. Missed in off the plate with it. 3 balls and a strike. And the 3-1 is inside ball 4. So the bases are loaded with 1 out here in inning number 1. And Robinson Cano, left-handed hitter, will be the batter. Injury report for the Indians. Joe Smith will be headed for a rehab assignment. Travis Hafner, if he can get through this weekend without any incidents, there's a good chance he'll be activated next week. For the Yankees, Melky Cabrera day-to-day with a shoulder injury. And they now have Jorge Posada back in the lineup. Here is Robinson Cano riding a 5-game hitting streak. He had an 18-game hitting streak that ended on May 2nd. Slashed down the left field line, dropping foul. Good effort by Mark DeRosa. He gave it all he had. Even if he'd have made a miraculous diving catch, the Yankees would have been able to get a run there.
Well, you got to be careful going over to that wall. That's that rubberized track, and that is not hard, but maybe it's with the water, you see the moisture. That's got a little more slide to it. Normally, you could sit up there and stick. That's not a good thing to do right there.
Good way to lose a couple layers of skin.
Yeah, easy.
0-1 the count on Cano.
Well, the last time that Cliff pitched against the Yankees, they were 0 for 7 off him with runners in scoring position in New Yankee Stadium, where he went his 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 run.
Back over the screen, 0-2 the count. Well, it almost looked like in the at-bat to Rodriguez, he was not going to give in to him,
right?
Especially once he fell behind. He was going to make Rodriguez swing at a pitch out of the strike zone.
Well, the thing of it is here, they got Cano hitting 5th. He has not struck out in his last 54 plate appearances. You got to go back to May 14th against Toronto. Or Texas, excuse me, when his strikeout. So, you know, he has been finding a way to put it in play, but Cliff's got him down in the count 0-2. He could use a strikeout here.
And the 2-strike pitch. It's
Beautiful.
swung on and missed.
How about that?
Looked like a changeup from Cliff Lee. Gets his 2nd strikeout of the inning, 2 down. And now Jorge Posada will be the batter. Let's take another look at the pitch.
That's a beautiful curveball, and you can forget about that. I just told you that number. It's now 50. He's 54 plate appearances, and Cliff Lee goes to work on him on 3 straight pitches. Nicely done.
Boy, did he pull the string on that.
Yes, he did.
So with 2 away, Jorge Posada will be the batter. Posada, who had a grade 2 right hamstring strain, caught 6 innings in an extended spring training game on Thursday. And now back in the lineup. Looks at the ball outside. Now, Posada has always been dangerous in these situations. And he has always hit well against the Indians. 1-0 pitch. And he looks at it down low. Posada with 14 career homers against the Indians. Fouls it back.
Got after that one, and remember the last that, including that Tampa series, batters 0 for 18 with runners in scoring position.
0 for their last 18.
Yes, indeed, and you can see Cliff's going to go right at him. He had to here. He's down in the count 2-0. You got to throw that fastball.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, top half of the first inning. And the 2-1 pitch is fouled straight back, and it evens the count up.
Well, you can see Posada upset himself, but he's just coming back. You know, he's been out for a while, so.
Well, crowd in full throat right here. Looks like our biggest crowd since opening day.
This could be a big boost for Cliff right here. Get this final out here and send him into the inning, get out of this bases loaded jam and pump him up a little bit.
And the 2-2 pitch is fouled back. .22 pitches for Lee here in the first inning.
Well, this is a team you just know you're going to go through, an inning or two during the course of this game where you're going to throw a lot of pitches.
Again, the 2-2. Pop foul out of play down the right side. And so Posada in his first at bat back since coming off the DL, giving Cliff Lee a pretty good battle here.
Well, this works out for him in game situation where you get out there and you get an opportunity to at least see a number of pitches in that first at bat. It helps you, make you relax a little bit in the batter's box. Even if he doesn't do anything in this at bat, it should help him down the road.
Again, the 2-2. And a
good
tapper.
change up.
He fights it off to stay alive again.
Yeah, I mean, that pitch was right on the outside edge, if maybe even for a ball, but he's able to just get a piece of it. I mean, when you're a pitcher and you make a pitch like that, and here goes a guy just fouling it off, you're thinking, my goodness, would you put it in play, please? That was a good pitch.
Jeter at third, Teixeira at second, Rodriguez at first with 2 outs in the top half of the first inning. And the 2-2 from Lee is swung on and missed. Cliff Lee loads him but strikes out the side. The Yankees do not score. Now Victor Martinez and company coming to bat. No score. Indians coming to bat here as the sun sets. Eric Wedge's starting 9 looks like this, brought to you by Progressive Insurance, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Johnny Peralta batting cleanup tonight. And then DeRosa, you see Kelly Shopik, and then Trevor Crow batting 9th. And the first pitch to Asdrubal Cabrera is in there for a called strike. Andy Pettitte.
37 years old. He was a late sign this winter. You know, after they had the fallout where they had to sign CC and A.J. Burnett. Then it was Andy Pettitte to fix that rotation.
Swung on and missed, and he quickly strikes out Asdrubal Cabrera. 1 down.
Let's check out the Yankees defense, and they have been playing outstanding defense. They are rated 3rd in the league, have made just 20 errors. Damon in left, Gardner in center, Swisher is in right. Rodriguez at 3rd, Jeter at short, Cano at 2nd, Teixeira is at 1st with Posada behind the plate. And they have not made an error as we look at Andy Pettit's numbers, making his 10th start. He's pitching fine. 4.1 ERA, and Pettit actually a 2.73 ERA on the road this year, where his record is 2-1. I'm talking to you about that defense for the Yankees. They have not committed an error in a franchise record 14 consecutive games.
Brady bangs one up the middle. It's into center field. Well, Sizemore DHing once again tonight as the Indians' first hit. And with one away, he'll bring Victor Martinez to the plate.
There you go, that fastball inside. And Pettit may not throw as hard as he once did, but Grady's able to get that ball right back up the middle. It got inside on him, but he got enough of it to get it through. So the Indians' first hit, and you got to remember that Pettit with an awfully good move to first base. He's got one of those moves, Matt, where it's almost like he hangs that leg up there and you don't know what he's going to do, and he could change his mind while he's up there. I've seen guys steal the base where he throws to first base and they can beat the throw to second. But with Pettit, it's a guy where you almost have to go on first movement. Remember earlier in the year, Jacoby Ellsbury stole home on him from the full windup and made it.
Victor Martinez with 69 hits, and it's still only May 29th. And why that is significant is that since 1954, only Kenny Lofton has amassed more hits as a Cleveland Indian before June 1st. And in 1994, Lofton had 72 hits before June 1st, and Martinez comes in with 69 here today.
He's going to get it before June 1st, which would be Monday, correct?
Yes.
So he's got 3 games.
Let's get a look at our Firestone League leaders. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Victor Martinez in a good count here, 2-0. And a called strike to make it 2-1. Interestingly enough, Rick, Martinez with the 69 hits. Manny Ramirez in 1999 also had 69 hits before June 1st, and Toby Harrah in 1982 had 69 hits.
I remember,
June 1st.
I remember Toby's year. That was some kind of year. Remember Manny's as well.
Now the 2-1. Evens it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Martinez significantly fewer at bats right-handed, but a much better average from the right side than the left. 32 points better as a right-handed hitter. Sizemore at first with 1 out, no score, bottom of the first inning. 2-2 pitch. And Victor lines it to Teixeira.
Nice base running.
1 away, and Grady able to stay out of the double play.
Boy, that is nice. Normally most guys would break to second base, and it would have been an automatic double play. But Grady has the presence to just sort of stay put. He wanted to go to second, freeze, and get back. Good job. Doesn't get into the double play, so you'll give your next guy at least a chance. That's not an easy thing to do for base runners.
You see that line drive, you want to take off.
Yeah, your first instinct is to go to second base, but he had the player right in front of him, so at least he knew that.
There's Johnny Peralta. Pops it up, and Mark Teixeira will backpedal and make the catch. After an inning of play here at Progressive Field, no score. Indians baseball on Sports Time Ohio, brought to you in part by Continental Airlines, the official airline of the Cleveland Indians. Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. By McCafe Coffees at McDonald's, all made to order with fresh ground espresso beans. And by All Care Dental and Dentures, we make seeing the dentist easy. Downtown Cleveland, Ohio, after just about an hour and a half rain delay before we were able to get started here tonight.
Well, it's just the common occurrence nowadays.
Boy, you're not
it's an hour to hour and a half, and let's go. That's okay. We're just waiting.
Hideki Matsui will lead it off for New York, and he looks at a ball up high. Matsui, DHing, has 7 homers, 18 runs batted in. He'll be 35 next month. Takes a strike. He's had knee problems, but when healthy, still wields a pretty potent bat.
Yes, he does. I mean, they can't play him in the outfield much anymore because of the knee problems, but a very good clutch hitter.
I mean, and that's the problem, Rick. He hasn't played a full season, since 07. And even the year before that, he only played 51 games.
Remember when he first came to the Yankees, he played almost 1,000 consecutive games.
Yeah,
you couldn't get him out of the lineup.
Exactly. 2-1. Grounded foul. This guy was a machine, originally drafted by the Yomiuri Giants in Japan in 1992. And they gave him the uniform number 55 because that was Sudahara O's single-season home run record in Japan. The Giants had hoped that he would eventually break O's single-season home run record, but he never did.
That's putting a little pressure on the guy, isn't it?
He did hit 50 homers in one season, which is nothing to sneeze at, but he never got to 55. Time now for our great clip of the game. Let's go back to Cliff Lee pitching in New York.
He was matched up with CC in that ball game, and it was a very good game. And then they exploded for 9 runs in the 7th inning.
Relax, you're at Great Clips.
And in that ball game, as I mentioned earlier, they were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. So he was able to battle his way through the first inning here, make him 0 for 2 in that situation. There's CC. He'll be going tomorrow night. He'll be towing the rubber for the Yanks.
The 0-1 pitch.
A little strange looking over and seeing him in that dugout, isn't it?
I talked to CC before the ball game. He met with a huge throng of reporters before the game today, and he said, other than opening day, he said, this is the biggest media event I've had. He said, it's been no big deal. Everyone talks about the media scrutiny in New York. He said, you know, for me, it's been no big deal, nothing unusual. Nick Swisher, a .223 average. And he looks at ball 3 down low.
I watch Swisher, and I watch his eyes every time before he looks up to the sky, north, way high of the pitcher, and then brings his eyes back down. I don't know what that does, if it helps him focus or what.
Cliff Lee walks him. That's his second walk already tonight. He'd only walked 14 in 68 innings coming in. Last night, there were a number of Yankee players over at the Q watching the Cavs. There's Java Chamberlain, Robinson Cano. There's CC Sabathia hanging out with Grady and Ben Francisco, and Josh Ball in the background there. Saw also Mariano Rivera and Alex Rodriguez, Ben Roethlisberger, Brady Quinn. Virtual who's who of pro athletes at the Cavs Magic game last night.
Now Shabba going to run out and have a talk with Cliff Lee. He doesn't like him now falling behind a lot of the hitters, especially when you get to the bottom part of this lineup.
Cavs will be back in action against the Magic tomorrow night. In Game 6, they must win to come back home and force a Game 7, which would be Monday night here in Cleveland. Brett Gardner batting in the 9th spot, left-handed hitter. Yankees have 4 left-handed bats in the lineup against Cliff Lee. So many managers will try to stack the lineup against Lee with all right-handed hitters, but you know, historically, Cliff's not a guy who overmatches left-handed hitters.
He's over the top. His splits are .254 batting average to lefties, .305 to righties. He's given up 3 homers to the righties and 1 homer to a lefty. But you know, he's around the plate. He's only 3 of 9 first pitch strikes tonight. That's not good for Cliff. If he's had any problems this year, it's getting run support. My goodness, they only average just 1.25 runs here in this ballpark in 36 innings for him. So he's trying to keep zeros on the board until the offense can do something. But
Gardner's the first left-handed hitter to get a hit against Lee in this game, and he sends a single in the right that sends Swisher all the way to third. So the Yankees now have runners at the corners with 1 out, and they're right back in business here in inning number 2.
Yeah, he's got another stressful inning here, first and third, and nobody out. After that leadoff walk, Gardner comes in, gets I believe that was a fastball in the hole.
You talked about the lack of run support for Cliff Lee. In his 5 losses, they've scored a total of 6 runs, and they've been shut out twice. Now Jeter, who had a base hit his first time up and who has swung the bat well historically, not only against the Indians, but Cliff Lee. Jeter with a .391 career average coming in, and with that hit earlier, now 10 for 24 in his career against Cliff Lee. The 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes, and already a ton of pitches for Cliff Lee here in the early going. There's a line drive toward left. It'll drop for a base hit. Yankees will take the lead. Swisher scores from third. 1-0 New York. And the Yankees have banged out 4 hits already against Cliff Lee.
Looked like it might have been a change up there, Matt, where he's down middle of the plate. He's able to keep it down, hit a line drive, and get it in front of DeRosa. So the Yankees draw first blood. That's a 23rd ribby for Jeter.
Here's Johnny Damon, struck out his first time up. Takes a strike. One ball, one strike. Oh, beg your pardon, 0-2. Yankees have won 7 of their last 10, 12 of their last 15. So they've been in a pretty good groove now for the last couple of weeks. Lee in a jam here, trying to minimize the damage. The 1-2 pitch. Up and in, straighten him up.
Well, he went in there the first time and was able to get him to swing and strike him out back in the first inning, but this one a little too far inside. He is really having to work hard in these first 2 innings.
And there's a line drive single into right field. Gardner broke back to the bag in case that was caught, so he has to stop at third, but now the bases are loaded, and the Yankees are really zeroed in on Cliff Lee here tonight. That's 3 hits in the inning, 5 hits already in the game.
Well, let's look at the location. See, that ball was middle of the plate. That's why it got hit. Shopik's sitting away, and Damon didn't have to reach for it. That's why he's able to pull it in the hole, the location, not really spotting that fastball like he normally does.
And that's going to be a bouncer to first. Martinez will take the out at first. 2 down, 2-0 New York as Gardner scores on the play. That extra hop really took any chance Martinez had of going to home away.
Yeah, that ball just wasn't hit hard enough. You see, he's behind the runner anyway. Now, if that ball was a one-hopper or a line drive, he might have been able to come home, but the only out he was able to make, first base, the other runners move up. And you may end up seeing, I don't think he's going to go at him very hard, to try and put him away here with first base open. He walked him in the first inning.
Rodriguez looks at a ball up high. There's a liner to third. It's over the head of Peralta, but foul down the line.
Boy, it looked like Johnny got leather on it. I guess it just missed. He timed it, and he was in fair territory. And by the time that ball lands, it goes to foul territory. Watch Johnny. That's fair, and it's over his glove by about 6 inches. And boy, what a break that is. That's about 3 or 4 inches foul. But you can see how much hook that ball had.
There's a strike called in the count 1-2. Good pitch by Cliff Lee. And the 1-2. Struck him out looking. Cliff Lee pulls the string. He is fan 4 of the game. But the Yankees get on the board first. They lead it 2-0, middle of the second. We go now to the bottom of the second inning. Mark DeRosa takes a called strike. Batting fifth tonight. He'll be followed by Ben Francisco and Jamie Carroll. DeRosa, a .266 average, 8 homers, 32 runs batted in on the year. And the count outside, 2-1. One thing that both Cliff Lee and Andy Pettit have always done in their careers is win. Pettit with over 200 career victories, and since 2004, with at least 100 games started under your belt. Cliff Lee and Andy Pettit among the top 5 in winning percentage. Mark DeRosa draws a leadoff walk. So the Indians get their leadoff man aboard for the first time tonight. And we'll check out the text poll question for tonight's game. Who do you think is Cleveland's biggest pro sports rival? Is it the Yankees? Is it the Steelers? The Pistons? Text your answer to 31962. We'll have the results coming up later. Ben Francisco takes a strike.
Yeah, that's right.
Francisco, 4 hits in his last 7 at-bats. He's hit in 16 of his last 22. Slow roller. A-Rod, off-balance throw, not in time. Francisco with the old swinging bunt. Infield single, and the Indians have their first 2 aboard.
Well, anytime a right-hander is fooled, and Ben had to reach for that ball and hit the topper, he's getting a good jump out of the box, and that enabled him to beat this ground ball out. See, he's already on his way to first base, and by the time Rodriguez can come in and make the throw, Ben beats it out at first base. So it'll be an infield single, the second hit for the Indians, and it's first and second, and nobody out. So they're trying to come right back. You know, we've seen Francisco do it a number of times. When he gets a number in that first at bat, he goes on to have a 3 or 4 hit night.
Right. All right, here's Jamie Carroll now, who has swung the bat very well and been a patient hitter. And Pettit fires a first pitch strike in there. Indians have won 5 of the 7 games that Carroll has started in. Bunts at third base side, but it's going to trickle foul. Carroll has 8 hits and 25 at bats, but he's also drawn 5 walks already. He'll have to battle here down on the count 0-2.
Well, he's one of those players. He's a scrapper. You know, for a utility guy, he gets the most out of what he does. He makes a pitcher work. He never swings at the first pitch. He's a nice fit.
And he fouls it off in front of the Indians' dugout. Now the 0-2 pitch coming up to Carroll. No turn anyway. Nothing doing for Pettit. Carroll pops it in the air center field. Gardner will run it down. 1 away. Now he was in protect mode there and just trying to get bat on ball, make something happen. Let's send you back to the studios right now for a Ford Sports Update with Dave Chudowski.
All right, Matt, great news in Baltimore. Tigers and the Orioles. 3rd inning, bases loaded. Luke Scott clears them. That's a grand slam off Dontrelle Willis to make it 5-0. Then he would do it again in the 5th, a solo shot to make it 7-zip. Right now it's 7-2 in the 7th. Back to you.
All right. 2 on, 1 out. Kelly Shoppach will be the batter. Big swing and a miss. Shoppach pops it high and foul over on the right side, and the count quickly 0-2.
Well, when you're a right-handed hitter, that's the pitch you're going to have to lay off with Pettit, especially when he gets ahead of you. That cutter inside, because it's a ball by the time it gets into the hitting area, and he gets you to commit early, and then you can't hold up. He shows you the fastballs away. He throws those cutters in and then mixes in a slow curveball. So right now with 0-2 count, he's got a number of ways to go because he's been in there twice. Look at, there's the curveball. Right-handers, a lot of them love that for that breaking ball to go away from them. They don't like it coming in on their hands.
Shoppach trying to jumpstart the Indians' offense here tonight with 2 on, 1 out, down 2-0 in the 2nd inning. And a good eye, watch this one bounce in, 2-2. Joe Girardi, former catcher himself. Watching Posada go out and visit with Pettit before he makes this 2-2 pitch to Kelly Shoppach. And a 1-hopper to short, double play ball, 6-4-3 inning over. Pettit gets out of it, 2-0 New York through 2 innings of play. As we go to the third inning of play here at Progressive Field, it'll be Robinson Cano, Jorge Posada, and Hideki Matsui to face Cliff Lee. The Yankees got 2 in the second off Cliff. It could have been worse. Lee has done a good job of minimizing damage. He got out of a bases loaded jam in the first, and the Yankees had 3 hits in the second inning.
Well, he's had to work awfully hard to get through those first 2. Out of the 13 batters he has faced, 10 batters he's faced from the stretch. So they've been on early, and they have been on often.
What have you seen so far? Is it a case where he just doesn't have it tonight, or are they zeroing in and making him throw?
First pitch fastball, he hasn't been able to locate it like he normally does for strike 1. And I think a location of the fastball. But he's been able to pitch to get out of it. To get outs, but I think the locating of the fastball has been the toughest problem to this point. He's missed on the plate a couple of times.
Robinson Cano struck out his first time up. That was a key early at bat in this game with the bases loaded.
Yeah, look at that. Look how strong that is.
It's an infield base hit.
Again, he'll go back into the stretch. Yeah, that strikeout of Cano in the first inning, that was the first strikeout in 55 at-bats for him. But he fights this one off. That's an excellent pitch. When a hitter hits a ball like that and he barely gets it, it doesn't even leave the infield. But he gets a base hit, he just fights it off. That's a good pitch. And you remember the first at-bat that Posada had, he made him work a number of times on how many pitches. He had an 8-pitch at-bat.
Swung on and missed. Now the 0-1. Missed down low. I'm sure the Yankees are happy to get Posada's bat back in the lineup, but it was pretty interesting when we noticed earlier the difference in ERA from when Posada is behind the plate as opposed to the guys who've been filling in.
I know it. The guys are calling a much better game. It shows. The numbers show. As far as the ERA goes. And sometimes, those other guys that aren't hitters, man, they got to go out there and they got to call a good game. That's priority number 1.
Leadoff man aboard for New York here in the third, and the 1-2 pitch coming to Posada is outside to even the count. Yankees ERA with Posada is 7.71. The other 3 catchers, the highest ERA among the 3 is 4.17.
Well, and he was catching earlier in the year when the pitching was terrible too. Now,
especially at home when they were giving up runs left and right.
When you look at the numbers here for Andy Pettitte, he's given up let me see, 8 home runs. 7 of them have come in Yankee Stadium, and I mean you could look at all their numbers like that, and I'm sure they're skewed the way the ball has been flying out of that ballpark.
Count is now 3-2 on Jorge Posada. And the payoff pitch, runner at first holds, and it's fouled into the club seats. You see the bugs already swirling around Jorge Posada. They are everywhere.
They're not like they were in that playoff game now.
They may soon be. They are all over the light towers here at Progressive Field. 3-2 pitch. Grounded towards short. Backhanded by Cabrera, but he knocks it down. He'll have no play. He kept it from going into the outfield, but had he fielded it cleanly, they would have at least had an out. But it hit in his mitt and then rolled away. And here come the Yankees again.
Well, I mean, here's a ball that if you can make it, you'll get possibly 1 out. I mean, that's just the way it's gone tonight for Cliff. A guy it goes off the heel of the glove. It goes as an infield single. And here he goes again, having to work hard to get out of an inning. First and second, nobody out. And these guys are going through that lineup for the second time.
Hideki Matsui will step in, and Cliff Lee is about to make his 62nd pitch of the game.
Well, 9 of the 15
nobody
Yankees
out in the
have
third
reached.
inning.
Yeah, that's...
Now the pitch to Matsui, in there for a called strike.
Everything is just out of reach, or it's just an inch away, or awfully close play, or an awfully close pitch. It's right now, nothing's going Cliff's way.
The 0-1 fouled away.
I mean, the way he's having to battle through this early part of the game, he'll be lucky to get 5 innings in. He is having to work awfully hard.
And the set by Cliff Lee, the 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball bounced to first. Martinez with a nice job on the short hop. He'll take the only out he has at first. Cano to third, Posada down to second.
Now, check out the location of some of the pitches that Cliff is making. As I told you, that was a good pitch. That was away, and they get a hit. That was not a bad pitch inside. That was not a good pitch. It was middle of the plate. Middle of the plate. So there's 3 middle. There's 1 up, middle of the plate. I mean, it did go for a base hit. Could have gotten an out, but he's not catching a break. Everything is going against him, let's say, at this point in time.
Here now is Nick Swisher, who walked and scored the Yankees' first run his first time up. And he looks at a ball outside. You asked earlier about Swisher. When he steps in, you'll see him.
Yeah.
He looks skyward.
He sure does.
I think we talked about this before. That's a tribute to his grandmother who raised him. His parents, of course, his dad, Steve Swisher, played in the big leagues, but his parents divorced when he was in junior high school, and his grandmother basically raised him, and that's a tribute to her. You may recall a few years ago, Rick, when we were in Oakland, he had
the
his
long hair,
wore his hair really long, and then had it shaved off and donated.
Didn't his dad come in and they did it at home plate before a ball game?
That's exactly right, when we were in Oakland. And, that was for cancer patients. His grandmother died of breast cancer, and so it's something that he is very involved with. Drives this one to deep center. This will get a run home. Crow makes the catch. Scoring is Cano, and Posada goes to third, 2 down. So Swisher has scored 1 and driven in 1, his 28th ribby on the year.
Again, a nice pitch, boy, with a man on third base, up, out over there. An easy pitch to elevate and hit in the air. Boy, that's what a hitter's looking for. He's looking for a ball belt high or above. Easy pitch to hit to the outfield. So he gets his job done. It's a 3-0 Yankee lead for Swisher. That is his 28th RBI.
And now Brett Gardner, who singled and scored his first time up, looks at strike 1. The Yankees out to the early advantage here tonight, and Andy Pettitte is sharp at the outset. Now it'll be up to the Indians' bats to see if they can make an adjustment against him and get on the board. Ground ball to short. Cabrera will throw out the speedy Gardner, and the inning is over. But New York tacks on a run. Middle of the third. Yankees 3, Indians nothing. All right, it's a 3-0 Yankees lead, and you can see the bugs as they swirl around the lights here at Progressive Field. Hopefully they'll stay up there and they won't descend on the players like they did back in 07 in that memorable playoff game. Trevor Crowe will lead off the home half of the third for the Tribe. Crowe, switch hitter, recalled from AAA Columbus recently with Grady Sizemore's elbow giving him problems. Crowe is a guy who can obviously play center field and go get him.
Well, probably I think one of the main reasons why he's recalled, because of that. Francisco has been playing center field. And it's been a while for Grady. I've got to be concerned because the last time he was out there was against the Cincinnati Reds because the pitcher had to hit.
Now the 1-2 to Crowe. Low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Trevor, against left-handed pitching, 3 hits in 11 at-bats. And the 2-2 from Pettit is popped up. Cano out. And the second baseman has it, 1 away. Don't forget, if you're thinking about getting engaged this summer, here's a plan. Buy your engagement ring at Alvin's Jewelers. Then, if it rains on your wedding day, the engagement ring is absolutely free. Check out all the details in their Pray for Rain promotion at alvinsjewelers.com. As Drupal Cabrera struck out his first time up. And he grounds it past Rodriguez for a 1-out single. Big bouncer, and A-Rod with the dive came up empty.
Well, you see when he's even with the bag, it cuts off the range. If he's a half a step or a step back more, because Cabrera will bunt, or at least he has. He did from the left side over the weekend. Or no, this is the weekend. During the week, it makes a difference. So that ball gets by for a single. Every day's a weekend.
And especially for you. Every day's Saturday in your world. There's Grady Sizemore, who had a single his first time up. Listening to you and Dennis Eckersley reminisce before the ball game, I don't think there's any 2 people on the planet who have had more fun in their lives than you two.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Grady Sizemore, swing and a miss. Eck in town. He'll be working on the game here in Cleveland on Sunday.
For TBS. It's going to be televised. He started doing work for them, and he's doing also Boston Red Sox games at home because Jerry Remy is out, so he's filling in. So he's getting a taste of doing it. I think the work's a little too hard for him. He doesn't like this daily grind. He was a pitcher, a relief pitcher.
Once every 5 days.
He came in, give me 3 outs. That's why the bullpen guy's only going inning now. Where's Zach? Eck, are you listening?
That would be great if they brought him in the booth. They just bring him in for the 9th inning. Eck, come on in.
You know what?
You got the 9th.
We should have got him in just for like 1 hitter.
We're going to beat the crowd out of here.
Yeah.
You get the 9th. Another throwback to first. Pettit awfully concerned with Cabrera with 1 out here in inning number 3.
Well, while he's throwing to first base, I want to send a happy 89th birthday to Dorothy Moransky, who is a great Cleveland Indians fan. 89 years old. She still takes the bus to the ballpark and has a 20-game plan and sits in the bleachers. How about that? Dorothy, happy birthday to you.
That's a hardcore fan right there.
Yes, indeedy.
The 0-1 is delivered and lifted in the shallow left. Damon squeezes it 2 away.
Well, if you're traveling, you can always catch the Tribe games on your computer with MLB.tv. It's the ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 live out-of-market games per week, plus on-demand games. For full details, visit Indians.com, where baseball is always on.
Here now is Victor Martinez. Hit a soft liner to first his first time up. Pettit's pitch is down low. Ball one. Pettit's only made 36 pitches so far tonight. The Indians have had a hit in every inning against him, but they haven't been able to really put anything together. That's down low. 2 balls, no strikes. Speaking of Dennis Eckersley, Andy Pettitte has a chance tonight.
I know where you're going.
It's one of those odd statistical references, but Mariano Rivera has 57 saves in games that Andy Pettitte has been the winning pitcher. And
right.
that ties the mark of Bob Welch, who started, and Dennis Eckersley, who finished for Oakland. The highest total for any pair of pitchers since the save became an official stat in 1969.
Well, you remember Welch out in Oakland had won 27 games one year, and Eck had 19 saves for him.
That was 1990, I believe.
89, maybe?
Was
80,
it? They went back-to-back years.
90. It was 90.
Yeah.
But that goes to show you how long that Pettitte has pitched in New York, and Rivera's coming in saving ball games for him. You remember he went to Houston. It could have been a lot more if he had stayed in one place.
That's a very good point. During his time with the Astros, Pettitte won 6 in 04, 17 games in 05, and then 14 games in 06. So there's no question they would have zoomed past that mark had he stayed. 3-1 pitch to Martinez is low, ball 4. And once again, the Indians have 2 men on base for the second inning in a row. And with 2 outs, Johnny Peralta will be the batter. Johnny Peralta in his career is 5 for 12 against Andy Pettitte with a double, a triple, and 2 home runs. But Pettitte ran one in on his thumbs first time up and got him to pop it up. See if Johnny can turn the tables on Pettitte here in inning number 3. Peralta with just 1 homer on the year, but 1 swing of the bat could tie it up.
Yeah, I don't ever remember seeing Johnny use the dark lumber. Look at the black bat. You remember ever seeing him swing with a black one? I don't.
I got to tell you, it's not something I keep a mental catalog of.
Well, that's because you're not observant. You're sitting here talking too much. You got to observe. He's got the.
I have no idea what color bat this guy uses.
He uses a light one. Trust me. It's the first time I've ever seen him with a dark bat.
And the pitch inside 2-0.
Just a scouting report. Johnny got himself out the first time on that cutter, and Pettitte continuing to try and get him to swing at that pitch. Johnny's 2 home runs off Pettitte came, I believe it was last year, 1 here and then 1 back in New York. They were both very big. The one here was a 3-run homer, and I think to give the Indians a 4-2 win here.
And a strike is called, 3-1. Peralta in a great spot here, trying to put some pressure on Pettit. And it's ball 4. So the bases are loaded as Andy Pettit has walked back-to-back hitters here in the 3rd inning. And the batter will be Mark DeRosa, who walked his first time up tonight. Cliff Lee hoping to see his mates pick him up a little bit.
Something that the Indians have done very well on this homestand was two-out base hitting. They've done a nice job. They have scored 15 runs in the 4 games so far with 2 outs. And patience remains on that cutter in.
Mark DeRosa has 2 base hits with the bases loaded this year. One of them came with 2 outs. And the 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike. All right, the word from the Indians head clubhouse official is you're crazy. He uses dark bats all the time.
Oh, you already got Tony?
So there you go.
Was that Tony?
So you might, hey, Inspector Clouseau, you might want to check your
all the time. All right.
In tight, 2 balls and a strike.
He's giving you bad information.
13 straight pitches for Andy Pettit without an Indian swinging the bat. This is reminiscent of that game earlier on the homestand. 2-1. And that's down low. 3 balls and a strike.
That's good. That's the pitch you have to lay off as a right-hander.
This crowd hooting and hollering. They want to see the Indians get right back in it. Down 3-zip. 2 down. Bases loaded. 3-1 pitch. And a big chopper to second will get Pettit out of the inning. So the Indians leave them loaded. And through 3, it's 3-0 New York. Impressive field. You see those bugs swirling around high atop the ballpark?
I'm not looking up that high. I can see that's where the birds are flying tonight because they're getting a mouthful.
Cliff Lee, 69 pitches already tonight. He'll deal with the top of the order. Derek Jeter, Johnny Damon, and Mark Teixeira. Jeter already 2 for 2 tonight with a run batted in. Pitch is down low for ball 1. Jeter brought a career average of .340 against the Indians into this series. And a strike to the inside corner evens the count at 1-1. Missed outside with that pitch, 2-1. Out of play.
Send along some more birthday wishes. Shannon Kish turning 30 today. Shannon, we'd like to wish a happy birthday to you. Doug Adair of Worcester is turning 80. Kerry Lutheran of Greensboro, North Carolina, turning 12. And Patrick Grialis is 7. Happy birthday to each and every one.
Jeter lays off and the count goes full. And the payoff pitch is fouled away. Lee deals 3-2 pitch, grounded towards second, and a big hop for Jamie Carroll. He'll throw out Jeter, one away. Let's get a look at our Subway fresh face of the game. Nick Weglars, outfielder at AA Akron, with 3 home runs yesterday.
Wow.
Tearing it up here in the month of May. Subway, play hard, eat fresh. Here now is Johnny Damon, 1 out of 2 with a base hit his last time up. He checked. Did he go too far? No. Pitch was low. 2 balls and no strikes. Caught the outside edge. Missed inside. No, he went too far.
Yeah, he did. That's like that first swing that struck him out. He started swinging and couldn't hold up on it. On a pitch inside. Watch. He just kept on going. That's what you call when you used to have Kangaroo Court, you give away the Funky Swing Award. That was it.
He grounds one to short as Drupal Cabrera throws him out, 2 down.
Well, the series will continue tomorrow with the Yankees, and all fans in attendance will receive a rally towel courtesy of Continental Airlines. Visit Indians team shops or the Progressive Field box office for tickets.
Mark Teixeira looks at a pretty good pitch, but it's called ball 1. Teixeira drove in a run on a fielder's choice his last time up. You can see there he has really turned it on with Rodriguez protecting him in the order now. Strike at the knees, 2-1. Teixeira, who grew up in Maryland, was a huge fan of Don Mattingly as a kid. Had a poster of Mattingly in his bedroom. And when he signed his first pro contract and moved out of the house, Mom and Dad tried to take the poster down a couple of different times, but every time Teixeira came home, he'd find it and hang it back up on that wall. Popped high and out of plate on the right side. Full count. Now the payoff pitch. Line towards center. Crow reaches down, makes the hip high catch, and for the first time tonight, Cliff Lee sets the Yankees down in order 1, 2, 3. And we'll go to the bottom of the fourth. Still 3-0 New York. Three 0 New York leads it. Going to the fourth inning here, Ben Francisco, Jamie Carroll, and Kelly Shopik will bat for the Tribe. They've had chances against Andy Pettitte, but unable to cash in so far. They had the first two on in the second inning, but the rally short-circuited when Kelly Shopik hit into an inning-ending double play. They loaded the bases with 2 outs last inning, but could not take advantage after Pettitte walked 2 in a row. Ben Francisco had a swinging bunt single his first time up, and as Rick said, historically that is the kind of thing that has gotten him off to great nights for whatever reason.
Well, I remember he did it one night in Texas and ended up having 4 hits.
Now the 2-0. The scoreboard update brought to you by Wendy's. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. Just missed outside. 3 balls and a strike. Pettitte got through the first inning with only 11 pitches, 16 in the second, but then 23 last inning when he got a little wild walking back-to-back hitters. Francisco pops it up. The right fielder Swisher is there, 1 down. Every time the Indians go deep this year, we raise money for the Gathering Place. $50 for every Indians homer, courtesy of our friends at Great Clips. Rick and I are each donating $5 for every Indians homer to the Gathering Place. Right now at the center of the diamond, the Yankees medical staff came sprinting out of the dugout to check on Andy Pettitte. He says he's all right. Not sure what the problem was or what they saw.
I think when he landed on one time, I don't know if it was It was the 3-1 pitch. Let's watch as he follows through and delivers. His landing foot hits. I don't know what it was.
Looked like he slid a little bit, Rick. I think you're right. That foot might have slid a little bit.
Yeah, he's
forward.
digging in that hole. You know, being another left-hander, maybe he and Cliff are, their landing area could be similar or right around that same hole. Maybe he did hit it and slip.
Jamie Carroll flied out the center his first time up. One and one. Breaking ball fouled away.
We want to send our get well greetings to Bob Atkinson, who is a tour guide and a worker here at Heritage Park. And Bob's out at the Cleveland Clinic, and we hope you can return to Progressive Field later this summer, Bob. Best of get well.
The 1-2 to Carroll. Missed up high with it. The 2-2. Rolled to third. Rodriguez bobbled it, but he recovers in time to throw him out.
Well, visit any of the Northeast Ohio Indians Team Shop locations, including the new Team Shop at the Strip in North Canton. Indians Team Shop, your source for game day game tickets and authentic Indians merchandise.
Two down for Kelly Shopik, who bounced into a double play his first time up. Big swing and a miss on the breaking ball. That's down low, 1-1. Now the 1-1 pitch. And Shopik spanks it into right field. Opposite field hit for Kelly Shopik. His first tonight. Fifth hit for the Indians. And a two-out base runner now for Trevor Crowe.
Well, he wants one down and away. And he gets it, but Shopik stayed on it nicely. Went the other way. It's a fourth hit for the Indians. All singles. But, you know, tough to start an inning when you get two outs. Tough to string anything together.
Posada lost sight of it momentarily. Shopik unable to advance. The 1-0 is fouled third base side. Andy Pettitte left New York after the 03 season when he signed a 3-year, $31 million contract with the Astros. Reportedly, he was offered more money by both the Red Sox and the Yankees, but it was a case where Pettitte really wanted to go back home and pitch where he lived near the Houston area. But apparently after those 3 years, he was then once again looking for the most money. The Astros offered him a $12 million one-year deal, and the Yankees offer was more. And eventually, he wound up back in the Big Apple. 1-2 pitch. Popped him up again. This is in foul ground. Rodriguez, inning over. 4 complete from Progressive Field, 3-0 New York. It's a 3-0 Yankee lead as we go now to the 5th inning. And while Cliff Lee has really had to work hard to get through 4 innings, on the other hand, he's saying, well, there's nothing new here. Not a whole lot of run support, as Andy Pettit has blanked the Tribe so far through 4 innings on 5 hits. But Cliff has on 4 hits. Cliff has made 87 pitches already, though, in the ballgame. So he may be headed for one of his shortest outings of the year. He hasn't gone less than 6 innings since his second start of the season.
Well, this is that kind of lineup that'll do it to you. You know, the way they're swinging the bat, they will make you work. They don't chase a lot of bad pitches off the plate, even when you're ahead in the count. And he really had to work hard in those first 2 innings. Right from the first hit of their game, he was out of the stretch because of the single by Jeter, who led off for the 7th time in the last 8 games with a base hit to get on base.
Bouncer, slowly hit. Peralta charging, unloads in a hurry, and he just did get him at the bag. 1 away. The old bang-bang play. And Cliff Lee has now retired 7 in a row.
Gets him to beat that one in the ground, and in comes Peralta. The catch and a throw just in time to get A-Rod.
Robinson Cano singled and scored the Yankees' last run in the 3rd inning. Cano has been on a tear offensively. He had an 18-game hitting streak that ended on May 2nd. Now he's hit in 6 straight. Overall, 16 hits in his last 36 at-bats. takes a strike.
He's not one of those guys you think that would be, especially in the Yankee lineup, that would be hitting fifth in that lineup. But he's having a solid, steady year. Last year, at this time, he was hitting .214 with 4 homers and 17 RBIs.
Wow.
You know, this year, much different. .329 and 28.
Peralta throws it over and got him 2 away. Time now for our direct energy, bringing the gas sequence. Go back to the first inning. Robinson Cano, bases loaded and 1 out.
Well, and he had gone 54 plate appearances without a strikeout, and Cliff runs the 2 fastballs up and in, and then drops the hammer on him. Drops that curveball in there and strikes him out on 3 pitches.
Direct Energy offers simple solutions for your natural gas supply needs. Jorge Posada takes a strike. He is 1 for 2 with a base hit in his return from the DL tonight. In the air, right center, long run. Francisco won't get it. Crow there to back it up. And into second with a 2-out double is Jorge Posada.
First extra base hit in the game.
Has always had good opposite field juice.
Well, he just goes down there with a good fastball. He stayed on it and drives it to right center field. So, as I said, the first extra base hit of the game, the 7th double for Posada, but there's 2 outs.
And Hideki Matsui, 0 for 2, will be the batter. Cliff Lee deals, and Matsui takes a strike. That ball is inside. 1-1 to count. Thought it was interesting. I read a story that when Matsui first came to the United States to play in the major leagues, he had his personal bat maker at Mizuno change the way his bats were made. He said major league pitchers in America throw more fastballs that have movement, so he had him make the sweet spot a little bit wider in his bats. And I don't know. I'm not real familiar with.
If I would have known you could do that, I would have told him to make me a ironing board, will you, please?
That's what
I
was
didn't know
thinking.
you could do that. A bigger sweet spot. What's this, golf like a driver where you get the bigger, unless he went with a bigger barrel on the bat.
The oversized club head.
Yeah. Gosh, I wish I would have known.
Well, you needed to get in tight with the bat maker.
Yeah, I guess.
I suppose with the success that he had in Japan, he could have probably called up and said, make me a bat with diamonds on it, and they would have done it. Runner at second with 2 down here in the 5th inning. And the 2-2 pitch is up and in, full count. Yankees 3 runs on 8 hits, no errors. Indians shut out on 4 hits, no errors as well. Cliff Lee with 101 pitches so far on the night. 3-2 delivery to Matsui, and he struck him out looking. Borderline call went the way of Cliff Lee, his 5th strikeout of the night. Yankees strand a runner in scoring position, but they still lead it 3-zip, middle of the 5th. fifth inning here at Progressive Field, top of the order for the Tribe. They have been unable to solve Andy Pettitte so far tonight. Cabrera drops down a beautiful bunt, and Rodriguez is going to let it go foul.
That's too bad. That was a beautiful bunt. And that was his only choice because he wasn't going to get him if he fields it. So you just let it roll, and it did roll out. Too bad. This is something that I think Cabrera, if he can keep into his game, is beautiful in that leadoff spot. Look at the rotation. You see, because when you have the barrel head out, it's got that kind of spin where it's going to roll, or it has the opportunity to roll foul.
The 0-1 from Pettitte. Back to the screen. Andy Pettitte is now 7th all-time on the Yankees innings pitched list. And he passed Waite Hoyt to move into sole possession of 7th place. (2,271 innings pitched.
Beautiful.
Cabrera with a base hit into right field, and the Indians get their leadoff man aboard for just the second time tonight.
Well, I mean, pretty much textbook right there. A ball elevated up in the strike zone. And you can see where Teixeira is off the base, and it's right into the hole. It's an easier pitch for Cabrera to go that way because it's high.
Pettitte with a little mound maintenance there. Grady Sizemore 1 for 2 with a single. And a strike called. Indians with 5 hits tonight. They've had 1 hit in every inning, but all singles. Problem the Indians have had so far tonight is that they can't put anything together.
Well, they're doing it late. This is the first, as you said, the second time with their leadoff man on. They did it back in the second with a walk. He's walked 3 into this game.
They're just 1 for 8 with a runner on base. Sizemore sends a lazy fly to shallow right. Nick Swisher has it 1 away. Let's go back to the STO studios right now for a Ford Sports Update with Dave.
Matt, good news in Baltimore. The Tigers have lost for the second straight time to the Orioles. It's 3 out of 4 now. Brandon Inns pops up the short with 2 on for the final out. 7-2 Baltimore. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Dave. 1 on 1 out for Victor Martinez, who is 0 for 1 tonight. Martinez, a slow chopper to third. Rodriguez tried to shovel it to third, and they did get the out. Boy, that was a close play, and I thought Cabrera was going to beat it out when Rodriguez went to that backhanded shovel. But that is going to be out number 2.
Well, you get down there and you hustle, and Cabrera knew everything, what was going on. He was out. But it was awfully close. He really had nothing else to do. He had to pretty much do it that way. You couldn't bring your arm up and throw.
Yep.
You were so close. That was your only thing you could do was shuffle it.
He throws over to first with Martinez about a step and a half off the bag. And the Indians continue to struggle with men on base tonight. Johnny sends a sky-high pop, and again, Andy Pettitte will get out of the inning. Jeter grabs it, and we have played 5 complete. 3-0 New York. Andy Pettitte has shut out the Indians to this point. And Cliff Lee is coming out for the 6th inning, despite being over 100 pitches on the evening. Try to give Eric Wedge at least one more inning. Nick Swisher, Brett Gardner, Derek Jeter, the scheduled hitters for New York. Swisher has walked, scored, and driven in a run with a sacrifice fly. Takes a strike. Cliff Lee has retired 9 of the last 10. But he struggled from the outset, throwing a lot of pitches. Left the bases loaded in the first inning, struck out the side. But he gave up 2 in the 2nd inning.
Look at that.
Swisher with a swinging bunt single.
That's been the way it's gone for Cliff tonight.
He's only given up, Rick, the 1 extra base hit.
Right.
I mean, that didn't
Posada,
hurt him.
it was a
in the
2-out
5th inning.
double. That's exactly right. I mean, he's had a couple of balls where he made good pitches, like one right there, and it turned into a base hit. He did it to Cano. Remember, he jammed him, fought it off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's made some very good pitches tonight, and he hasn't had good results. So it'll be another base hit. That's 9 now. Look at him.
You have to be kidding me.
Well, it's frustration. I mean, and I don't blame him. But now he's coming out of the stretch, and he can ill afford to allow any more runs at this point in the ball game.
Brett Gardner 1 for 2. He singled and scored in the 2nd inning. Bunts it back to the mound. Lee will get the sure out at first. 1 down. In the scoring position is Nick Swisher. Let's get another look at the Alltel text poll question of the game. Who do you think is Cleveland's biggest pro sports rival? 1 for the Yankees, 2 for the Stillers, 3 for the Pistons, 4 for somebody else. Text your answer to 31962. Results later in the game. In the dirt, Good stop by Kelly Shopik. Well, the White Sox are tattooing Kansas City tonight, 11-2 in the 8th inning, and that's in Kauffman Stadium. Jeter takes a strike. It's 1-1. Lee's 1-1 pitch. In the air, right field. Ben Francisco. He'll make the catch. Swisher will tag. He'll go to third. And the batter will be Johnny Damon. Let's get a look at our All Care Dental and Dentures Smiling Easy Cam. There's Emily. Sun was out before the ball game and it was gorgeous, and then right before game time the skies opened up and we had an hour-and-a-half rain delay. 17 locations across northeastern Ohio. All Care Dental and Dentures make seeing the dentist easy. Johnny Damon is 1 out of 3 tonight. Yankees with a runner at third and 2 down. And the pitch up high for ball 1. .110 pitches now in the night for Lee. Foul tipped. Cliff has gone as many as 122 in a game. That was when he went 8 innings here at home against Kansas City. And in his last start, he went just 98 pitches in Cincinnati. In the air, left field, near the line, long run. DeRosa makes the catch. And the inning is over. Nice play by Mark DeRosa. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Tribe trailing at 3-0. Went 6 innings, allowing 3 runs on 9 hits. But his mates have been unable to pick him up.
Once again, as I told you earlier, in this ballpark, they don't score for him, just averaging over 1 run per ball game. And they haven't scored for him tonight. Well, hopefully he's hoping it changes in this inning.
Mark DeRosa leads off, looks at a ball up high. He has walked and grounded out tonight. The Indians have 1 hit in every inning, 5 singles in all. DeRosa spanks one into left field, and again the Indians get their leadoff man aboard. Second consecutive inning, third time tonight. Let's get a look at our Northern Ohio Toyota dealers game recap. Derek Jeter with an RBI single in the second inning, put the Yankees in front. Then Mark Teixeira with the RBI ground out made it 2-zip. And then in the third, a sac fly by Nick Swisher brought home Robinson Cano. And that has been it. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Ben Francisco, 1 for 2. Looks at a ball down low. Francisco, an infield hit in the second inning, flied out to right in the fourth. Not that the Indians need to get it all back at once, but the Indians are looking perhaps for a crooked number here. And I thought it was interesting, Rick, that the Indians this year, 29 of their 51 homers have come with men on base. So they haven't thrived on the solo shot, but rather the multi-homer. And only the New York Mets have hit a higher percentage of their homers with men on base this year.
Well, they could use one. They need a little spark here because they haven't been able to do anything to Andy Pettitte as far as string 2 hits in any one inning. He ran into problems when he walked 2 with 2 outs back in the third inning, but other than that, he's been in total control.
He's fallen behind Francisco 3-0 with Jamie Carroll on deck. You see Eric Wedge talking with Derek Shelton. And he walked him. So the first 2 aboard. And that's the second time tonight the Indians have had the first 2 men on base against Andy Pettitte. It also happened in the second inning. Joe Girardi will make his first trip to the mound. Yankee bullpen is busy. Is it too early in the game for Eric Wedge to be looking at, matchups and possible pinch hitting?
No, man. I mean, any opportunity you get a chance now, you go for it.
You've got Ryan Garco on the bench, who has certainly been hot here lately. Cooled off a bit yesterday, but had a cluster of home runs against the D-Rays. Alfredo Aceves is warming for New York.
I'm just looking here who he's going to pinch hit for, though. I mean, because he made this starting lineup to face Pettitte.
Carroll looks at a ball out of the strike zone. He's looking to bunt him into scoring position. DeRosa the runner at second, Francisco at first. 2-0.
Well, you have to take a strike now after
and
the
now
walk.
they're going to bring the trainer out.
No, that way it'll give him all the free time in the world to go to the bullpen if he comes out of there with an injury. They were out there earlier after he landed after a pitch. Looks like Girardi wants to take him out.
He sure does. It looks like he's talking him out of the game, isn't
Yeah, he sure is. That's what he's going to do, and he's going to have that bullpen that can go as long as they want after the walk, the single. He's going to give it on. Yeah, I could just tell that's what's going to happen.
So Pettitte will exit. And the Yankees will make a pitching change here with a 2-0 count on Jamie Carroll. And the first 2 on here in the 6th inning. We've got a timeout in Cleveland with New York leading it 3-0. 3-0, Yankees lead it. Indians threatening with 2 on, nobody out, 6th inning. Andy Pettitte left the game. You saw earlier in the ballgame he landed and had an awkward moment on the mound with his leg. Not sure if that has anything to do with why he's come out or not, but
you know, he's looking down at the ground. It's hard to tell if something popped. I mean, he went out there. He had the walk. He runs off the field. So I mean, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it may have nothing to do with his leg whatsoever. Maybe something else. But he's out of the ballgame after just 84 pitches and working on a shutout. Meantime, right-hander Alfredo Aceves is into the ballgame. A native of Mexico.
He's making the 9th appearance, 3-1 record. So he's gotten in there at the right time, huh? 16 2/3 innings, 15 hits, and 15 strikeouts. Has walked only 3. Well, the Indians have 2 on, nobody out, and a 2-0 count to Jamie Carroll.
All right, 2 on, nobody out, 2-0 count on Carroll. And it's now 3-0, and should Aceves walk him, this will be credited to Andy Pettitte. Alfredo Aceves, 6'3", 220-pound right-hander. Fires a strike in there. Pitched 6 seasons in the Mexican League before the Yankees signed him this past off season. Actually, 2 off seasons ago. It's ball 4. So the walk is credited to Andy Pettitte, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. And Kelly Shopik will be the batter. And the Indians now have a golden opportunity to put themselves right back in the ballgame. See if they can take advantage of this situation. Kelly Shopik, 1 out of 2 tonight. He had a base hit his last time up. And he fires the first pitch strike into Shopik. Mark DeRosa, the runner at third. Francisco at second. Carroll at first. The 0-1 up high, evens the count. Alfredo Aceves is the product of a baseball family. His dad, Alfredo Sr., was a power-hitting first baseman in the Mexican League. Shopik swings and misses, and the count 1-2.
Came back with a good changeup after the 2 high fastballs. You see it just bottom drops out.
Indians at every base. Nobody out, 6th inning. And the 1-2 pitch is a bit too low. In addition to his father, who played in the Mexican League, Alfredo's older brother signed with the White Sox organization in 1997. Played 600 career games in the minors before retiring after the 06 season. Never made it to the major leagues. Now the 2-2 to Shopik. Struck him out looking. He is barking at home plate umpire Tim Cheetah, who snaps off the mask. After Shopik is the first out here in the 6th inning. That's just the 2nd strikeout for Yankee pitching tonight.
Well, take a look. 2 strikes. They wanted it away. That's a changeup, and that'll almost look like a curveball to come down. You know, it wasn't that bad. Too close to take with 2 strikes. He doesn't like it. He thought it was high. He's saying it was not a strike, but now you got to get Shin-Soo Choo to pinch hit.
So we talked earlier, I asked you, and we saw Eric Wedge talking with Derek Shelton earlier in the inning, and I'm imagining that's what they were discussing, possible matchups, opportunities, and they like to pull the trigger right here with Chu. Bases loaded.
You have to. This is where you have your opportunity to get right back in the game, if not take the lead. Down 3-0, and that pitch to Shopping, I know he might have felt it was high and everything, but when it's close like that and you have runners on base, you've got to try and find a way to put the ball in play.
Dave Island, the pitching coach, went out to talk to Aceves before he faces Shin-Soo Choo here. Left-handed hitters are just 3 for 26 against Aceves, who is a right-hander.
That's because it's a changeup, and we saw the curveball right there to Shopping. I guarantee he'll give lefties a headache. He rides the high fastball up, belt high or above, and then he's got good off-speed pitches.
And this is a Yankee bullpen that has had its problems this year. Bases loaded, 1 out. 0-1 pitch drives him off the plate. Last year, the Yankees bullpen had an ERA of 3.78. So far this year, a 5.26 earned run average coming in. So up a run and a half. There are only 2 bullpens that have had a higher increase than the Yankees, the Angels and the Nationals. 1-1 pitch. In the air, left field, near the line. Damon is there.
That'll score one.
DeRosa will tag. He will score. And it's a 3-1 ball game. Shin-Soo Choo picks up his 29th run batted in on the year, but now there are 2 out. The batter will be Asdrubal Cabrera, who is 2 for 3 tonight. And Aceves is just 1 out away from getting out of a big jam.
I mean, if they can get out of here just giving up the 1 run, you talk about minimizing the damage. And the Indians now looking for a 2-out base hit. You would like to get 2 in, if possible, when you get that inning set up like it was. Well, this is the king of the 2-out base hits for the Indians. Half his RBIs have come with 2 outs.
Looks at a ball up high. Popped up. Rodriguez to the seats. Won't be able to reach in. It's off the top of the dugout. With runners in scoring position and 2 outs, Asdrubal Cabrera is batting .300. He is 9 out of 30.
There you go. 13 of the 27 ribbies coming with 2 outs.
One ball, 1 strike, 2 on, 2 out. Tribe down 2. Home half of the 6th inning. And Alfredo Aceves delivers, and that was fouled off. Count 1 and 2. Not sure if that was the backswing of Cabrera's bat that got Posada's glove.
Let's take a look, because it did it came off, didn't it?
It was just the ball
No,
itself.
the ball that hit up on those fingers, and looks like it hurt him in the hand. That's hit the fingers, off the top. Did not feel good.
And the 1-2 from Aceves. Now ball to short. Jeter will go the long way. And a nice grab by Teixeira. And the Yankees do indeed get out of the jam. Indians get a run. They trail at 3-1 through 6. 3-1, New York leads it. Going to the 7th inning here at Progressive Field. For the Indians defensively, Shin-Soo Choo into the game in right field, and Francisco slides over to center. New pitcher is right-hander Matt Hergis. Hergis coming on for the 9th time this year. A win, no losses, ERA 1.35. He'll face Mark Teixeira, who is 1 for 3 tonight. The 1-0 Teixeira pops it foul, out of play. Taps it back to the mound. And Hergis will have himself an easy play for out number 1.
Well, the Bud Light Party Deck is Progressive Field's best party area. Game tickets start at just $40 and include all-you-can-eat buffet and fantastic view from the right field location. Call 216-420-HITS for the information.
There's the Bud Light Party Deck. On a Friday night, folks having a good time. Hoping to see the Indians rally back from a 3-1 deficit now. Alex Rodriguez 0 for 2 on the night. Liner up the middle. And Rodriguez aboard with 1 down here in the 7th inning.
Pretty good pitch there by Hergis. A-Rod gets the extension out there and drives it into center field. Double digits in hits now. The Yankees have 10.
Robinson Cano has 1 of them. Singled and scored in the 3rd inning. Called strike to the outside corner. One would maybe assume that Robinson Cano, off to a great start this year, and being a left-handed hitter, has taken advantage of the launching pad that is the new Yankee Stadium. But 6 of his 9 home runs have been on the road this year.
That's a good number. That's fair. That's legit.
I mean, you would think he'd just be popping them up in the right field and watching them fly out of New York, but only 3 homers at the new home of the Yankees. Now, that doesn't mean that he isn't lining them to the gaps in the alleys there.
Well, there have been 87 homers hit at Yankee Stadium. They've hit 45, the opposition 42, so it's been pretty even, you know, as far as that goes, but that's an awful lot of home runs.
The 0-2 pitch fouled away. Well, as long as you have guys in your lineup like Teixeira and like Rodriguez, and Posada and Matsu, you're going to hit your
They're always going to hit their homers. There's no doubt about it.
But if you have a light hitting club playing in that ballpark, ooh, be a long season. Because you'd be playing catch up a lot. In the air, right center. This is Ben Francisco to make the catch, 2 away. Browns fans, you can win a Trips Pack, the Browns' new 3-game ticket plan. Log on to STOHD.com now and tell us your 3 favorite Browns receivers of all time, and you'll be automatically entered to win.
Speaking of Browns receivers, we had one out taking batting practice today before the game. Braylon Edwards, he took a little BP. Swung the bat pretty well, too.
He went deep.
Yes, he did. Heard the seats.
And he says he's happy to be back in camp with the Browns this coming season. There had been a lot of talk and speculation about Braylon being shipped somewhere on draft day, but there's Braylon Edwards.
I wanted to see him run, man, because I saw him, out on that football field. He's got some long strides. I'd love to see him run around the bases. He looks like he could fly, but there's a swing, and he did go deep. We will admit it. He went deep and got high fives all the way around.
He fared much, much better than when LeBron James took batting practice here that one time.
No question.
LeBron had a tough time just getting out of the cage.
Well, not an easy thing to do.
Oh, much easier.
He had a tough time swinging without hitting the cage as long as his arms were. LeBron did. There it was. That was our nitro zone right there. He's looking at it. Yeah. It made it.
That's it. I'm done. Good night.
Well,
Thanks for coming. Drive safely.
He could be a big leaguer. You hit a home run, you stand and watch it.
Jorge Posada batting left-handed for the first time tonight, looking at a 3-0 count. And her just shaved the outside corner. 3-1. One on with 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Posada, infield single in the 3rd. He doubled the right center in the 5th. And the 3-1 is outside, ball 4. So 2 on, 2 out. And left-handed hitting Hideki Matsui 0 for 3 will be the batter. Cliff Lee went 6 innings tonight, allowed 3 runs on 9 hits, walked 2, struck out 5, made 112 pitches, 71 of them 4 strikes. But offensively tonight, the Indians were shut out for 5 innings by Andy Pettit. And then Pettit left in the 6th inning after the first 2 had reached. Indians loaded the bases but managed just 1 run. Hideki Matsui. Big bouncer towards first. Victor Martinez will scoop it up. Inning over. Stretch time in Cleveland. Indians need to rally, down 3-1. home of the best outdoor dining in town. Visit paninisgrill.com. Brady Sizemore, Victor Martinez, and Johnny Peralta here in the bottom of the 7th. Alfredo Aceves. And Sizemore lifts a lazy fly, shallow center. Coming in, Brett Gardner. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, looking for that once-in-a-lifetime gift? You can purchase a ticket for Batting Practice Extra. It's a chance to watch the Indians take BP out on the field. Call 216-420-HITS and find out more about the Batting Practice Extra. Something different, a little unique.
Great crowd on hand here tonight at Progressive Field. They're packed in at the Batter's Eye Bar. Victor Martinez 0 for 2. He walked back in the 3rd inning. The 0-1 pitch missed inside. Aceves wears number 91 in tribute to Dennis Rodman, who he became a big fan of when Rodman used to play for the Bulls. Aceves said, I like the way he played because he had everybody frustrated.
Yeah.
Nobody was comfortable playing against Rodman.
As long as he doesn't dye his hair or wear a woman's clothes, he's fine.
Or eyeshadow.
Yeah, right.
Come out to the mound. That might be a little odd. The 2-1 delivery. Again, popped into shallow center. Jeter goes out to grab it, 2 away. So Alfredo Aceves has done a phenomenal job here in relief. He has retired all 5 that he has faced. And now Johnny Peralta, the batter, 0 for 2 tonight. Aceves came into a bases loaded, nobody out jam in the 6th inning. They got a strikeout, a sac fly, and a ground out, allowing the Indians just the 1 run. That's all they have tonight. Up high. They tell us that Pettit left the game with lower back stiffness. And for a big guy like that, when he may have slipped on the mound, he may have jarred that back a little bit early in the ball game. So that might have contributed to what eventually knocked him out of the game. Peralta back to the mound, and the Indians go quickly and quietly in the 7th. 3-1 New York. 3-1 New York. Go to the 8th inning here at Progressive Field. Nick Swisher, Brett Gardner, and Derek Jeter to face Matt Herges on for a second inning of relief work. Swisher has walked and scored. He has driven in a run with a sac fly, and he has singled. And the pitch is outside, 2-0. Rafael Perez loosening in the Indians bullpen, just recalled today from AAA Columbus. .20 is a called strike to the outside edge. There is Perez. And with Perez being brought back from AAA Buffalo, the Indians designated David DeLucci for assignment today. A strike to the outside edge, 2-2. DeLucci, no homers, 1 RBI in 40 at-bats this year. And with Travis Hafner due off the disabled list soon, there were going to be even fewer and fewer at-bats for him. Now the 2-2 pitch. Kind of an odd-looking swing. Peralta will throw him out, 1 down. Let's go back to the STO studios once again for a Ford Sports Update with Dave Chudowski.
Matt, we showed you the Tigers lost earlier. The Twins go down tonight as well. The Rays, Randy Choate gets Joe Mauer for the final out. Rays win 5-3. They can win away from Cleveland. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Dave. Now the Indians need to put together a rally. They trail at 3-1 here in the 8th inning. Brett Gardner singled and scored. He has grounded out and laid down a sacrifice bunt. Takes a strike. He apparently pulled the bat back. Did you see Randy Choate got the save today for the Rays?
I did not.
I'm trying to remember if he was one of the guys that had a save. I don't think he was.
I don't think so, because he just got called up.
So that'll be 7 different players with at least a save for the Rays.
I don't think he had one.
1-1 pitch. Down low.
Got to send out get well wishes to Dolly Resgatis. She is recuperating from hip replacement at the Wellington Place in North Olmsted. So, Dolly, get well soon.
2-1 count to Brett Gardner. Herges fires, and a called strike evens the count. In the dirt, full count. Brett Gardner went to the College of Charleston in South Carolina, and with his speed, he was among the national leaders in hits, stolen bases. He was a third-team All-American in 2005 when the Yankees made him a third-round pick. And the payoff pitch is in the air, shallow center, long run. Here comes Francisco on the move, and he makes the grab, 2 down. Let's get a look at tonight's Alltel text poll results. As much as Indians fans despise the Yankees, there is no rival among Cleveland pro sports teams like the black and gold from just down the turnpike. The thing with the Cavs, their rivals change, if not decade to decade, sometimes year to year. That for a long time there, the Mark Price, Elo, Nance, Doherty Cavs,
Bulls.
it was Michael
Bulls.
Jordan and the Bulls
Right.
for a long time.
It's whoever you have to beat to get, to your final destination.
A couple years ago when they went to the finals, it was the Pistons
Yes,
who they
it
had to
was.
get through. They held the crown for a while.
He might have wanted to put the Orlando Magic up there because they've got to get 2 more wins against them after the win last night. They're playing tomorrow in Orlando.
Jeter fouls it back.
And should they win there, then with this wraparound series here, ending on Monday, they'll have Game 7 here Monday night. They can bring it back home.
If that would be the case, then downtown will be hopping on Monday night. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Jeter, who is 2 for 4 on the night. Big bouncer to short is Drupal Cabrera. Throws him up. And the Yankees go 1-2-3. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's still 3-1 New York. And Alfredo Aceves is on for a 3rd inning of relief work. Tried to snap off a big curveball and missed up and in. DeRosa singled and scored the only run for the Indians in the 6th inning. Bangs it foul. There is activity in the Yankee bullpen.
Well, this guy has come in to do a very good job. Remember, he came in with 1st and 2nd and the 2-0 count on Jamie Carroll, who ended up walking, and then he had the bases loaded and allowed just the 1 run. Had a 1-2-3 7th and back out there for the 8th. And you know what you're going to get in the 9th if you don't score.
Missed inside with it. This scoreboard update brought to you by Coors Light. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Yeah, he may not be as dominant as he has been earlier in his career, but Mariano Rivera is still without parallel. The 2-2.
Yes.
And he went too far.
Yes,
he
did.
him out. 1 down here in the 8th inning. 2nd strikeout for Alfredo Aceves.
Boy, you know, as a hitter, you get up there and you're thinking, no way, I'm not going to swing at that high fastball. And that's where he throws his fastball, is above the belt. But he could not check his swing. He did go around, and I think he knew it. He's trying to decoy him, nope, and he's saying, man alive, that's upsetting as a hitter.
Ben Francisco takes a strike. Francisco has singled, walked, and flied to right. 0-2 the count. And the 30th pitch coming up for Aceves right here. Oh, over the head of Francisco. That was that breaking ball.
Yeah, well, you get underneath it. It slips out of your hands when you're trying to snap it, and it takes off. Second time. See, as you're bringing it down, that thing just slips out at the top.
Like Bob Feller would say, it's like you're pulling down the window shade.
Well, that window shade stayed up a little bit. You're still seeing daylight.
Slipped out of his hand and went up and wrapped around. Here's the 2-2 coming up. Nope. Time called as Francisco steps out first. Now the 2-2 pitch. And Benny stays alive. Francisco, then Jamie Carroll here in the 8th for Cleveland. Valbuena and Chu left on the, Valbuena and Garco left on the Indians bench after Chu pinch hit and drove in the Indians' only run with a sac fly in the 6th. Here's the payoff pitch to Francisco, and it's yanked into left field, a base hit. So he has 2 hits on the night. And the tying run comes to the plate now in the form of Jamie Carroll.
He hung this. He's having a problem with that curveball this inning, and this one stayed up, and Francisco just stayed on it. Let that ball get deep into the zone, and he turns on it. So Francisco 2 for 3. The Indians now with their 7th hit. And the tying run now comes to the plate.
Carroll 0 for 2, walked his last time up. He wanted to try to bunt one, but the pitch is outside for ball 1.
Well, he caught Rodriguez back behind third base, so I think it was the element of surprise where if it was a decent pitch to bunt, he was going to lay one down third and force him to make a play on him, and it's not a bad idea. You need action, you need base runners, you need something to happen.
Now Rodriguez.
Yeah, it took it away from him.
In front of the bag.
He took it away from him now. I mean, it's the element of surprise. Yeah, that's why when you're a hitter, you get outside that batter's box. You know, before you get in there, you sort of eye that defense. You see where they're playing you. Sometimes it gives you an idea how they're going to pitch you. And he saw him behind the bag, and he figured, okay, I'm going to try one time.
1-1. Shot it back. And now Rodriguez can back up a little more.
Yeah, now he can go back and play deep. Cut down your angle, knock anything down because the tying run is at the dish.
And the 1-2 is back over the screen. Well, one thing's for sure, Rick. Nick Swisher does not want to let Carroll dump anything in front of him in right field. He is short near the line and right. case Carroll tries to just bloop one over that way.
Well, they know one thing. He's not going to drive the ball to right field. So, you know, even if they're playing deeper in that, let's say, a no doubles defense, he's not that deep.
Runner goes. Pitch fouled back. Francisco had a big jump. But with 2 strikes, Carroll has to protect.
Yeah, I had a great jump. Had it stolen, but there's nothing you could do with 2 strikes on the hitter. He finally got a good read. That was an easy play, but you have to swing. You got to protect yourself.
This will be the 40th pitch for Alfredo Aceves in his 3rd inning of relief work. Runner goes again. And the 1-2 is strike 3 called. 2 down. Well, now Kelly Shopik to the plate.
Curveball drops into the zone. Look at that. That's the same pitch that he got Shopik with the bases loaded. Remember, Kelly said it was high. It was the exact same pitch.
So Kelly Shopik, 1 out of 3 on the night, will be the batter. And with 2 down, Aceves delivers low for ball 1. Left-hander Phil Koch in the Yankee bullpen. You would assume he will face Shin-Soo Choo if Shopik keeps the inning alive. Ground ball to third. Rodriguez has it and throws him out. And we will go to the 9th here in Cleveland. It remains 3-1 New York. Ninth inning here at Progressive Field. Rafael Perez, he is returned to the big leagues.
He is back.
Look what he did at AAA Columbus.
Well, the hopes when they sent him out was that he could recapture and find that slider. Get a little confidence as well. He was roughed up when he was here. And this bullpen really needs this guy back. And, I mean, he is a very important piece of the puzzle. And he's right. He can get lefties out. He can get righties out. And he's a great 7th-inning guy. And it just really sets the rest of that bullpen up. So hopefully he will be back, and he's back to the Rafael Perez we know.
Well, he'll certainly get full test here tonight. He's got Johnny Damon, Mark Teixeira, and Alex Rodriguez. Welcome back, big fella.
That's
Go get him.
okay. Doesn't bother him.
Damon is 1 for 4 tonight. And a fastball in there for a called strike. The 0-1 is fouled away. In the division series back in 07 against these Yankees, Perez pitched in 3 games, working a total of 6 innings, struck out 6, allowed 1 run and 3 hits. The 0-2, weak tapper to second. 1 away. Time now for our Northern Ohio Buick Pontiac GMC Performance of the Game.
Well, this guy came in and did a great job. 3 innings, gave up the 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, no walks. They did score when they came in, but that run was on the docket of Andy Pettit.
Here is Mark Teixeira, who is 1 for 4 tonight. Rafael Perez with a 1-0. In for a strike to even the count. Well, Toronto finally snapped that losing streak, beating Boston.
Well, that's what they needed to do. That's the team that roughed them up in part of that 9-game losing streak.
In the air, right field, near the line, dropping in a hurry, and foul. Not by much. Well, that's got to be pretty comforting if you're Toronto, though. You lose 9 in a row. You win tonight, and you're only a game out of first. After all of that.
That goes to show you the start that they got off to.
Yeah.
I mean, they were playing outstanding when nobody thought they were going to be around because of the injuries. And, you know, they're still and everybody goes through their struggles at some point in time during the course of the year. They just got to hope that that's the last time it happens to them.
Yeah. One and 2 the count on Mark Teixeira. High in the air. That's going to go out of play. Mariano Rivera warming for New York. Looking at Shin-Soo Choo as Drupal Cabrera and Grady Sizemore, the scheduled hitters.
It's almost like you like right-handers up against Rivera more so than lefties because of that cut fastball that he throws that really breaks late on the hands of the left-hander. That's why Grady's never got a hit off him.
Ryan Garco, the only right-handed bat left on the Indians bench. And the 1-2 is a big bouncing ball to third. Peralta slings it over and gets Teixeira 2 down. That will bring up Alex Rodriguez, who is 1 for 3 tonight. A-Rod had a base hit his last time up, walked his first time up. In between, a strikeout, a ground out. Ran it in off the plate for ball one. Rafael Perez in his return to the big leagues. He has retired the first two, trying to set him down 1-2-3 now. Missed down low. In their regular season encounters, Rafael Perez has struck out A-Rod in the 2 times he's faced him. Falling behind him here 2-0. Popped him up. Right field. The second baseman Carroll makes the catch. We go to the bottom of the ninth here in Cleveland. Indians trail it 3-1. Last chance for the Tribe. On for New York, Mariano Rivera.
9 out of 10 in save situations, looking for number 10. And we told you earlier in the game, would be number 58 for him if he should save this ball game for Andy Pettit and break that tie for Eckersley and Welch.
He is 9 saves shy of 500. Second all-time behind Trevor Hoffman. He has saved 398 games over the last 10 years. That's the most in the majors during that time.
As good. Think about how long he's been around, as good as he's been, and you look at Trevor Hoffman, and he's still at 565 and still pitching.
Well, and this is interesting too, Rick, and this just tells you about the modern era. 870 career appearances for Rivera. That's 347 more than any pitcher in Yankee history.
Wow.
Dave Righetti is second on that list at 523. He's converted 43 of his last 46 on the road.
Well, and Chu has never faced him, so he's going to get his first look at this cutter.
It'll be Chu, Cabrera, and Sizemore here in the ninth for Cleveland. And a first pitch strike at 91 miles an hour. Indians had opportunities against Rivera in New York.
Yes, they did.
But they just could not quite cash in.
Well, you need that base runner to at least get the tying run to the plate.
Yankees 3 runs on 10 hits. They've left 10 men on base. Indians 1 run on 7 hits. They've left 10 men on base. 2 balls and a strike. And the 2-1. Chu bloops it toward left field. It's dropping. Base hit. And the Indians will bring the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th as Chu delivers with a leadoff single.
Thing of beauty right there. That thing down and in on him, and he just fights it off and goes the other way. Look at, they wanted to tie him up inside, and that was in. It just was elevated and up. So he fights it off, bloops it into left field, and there's the tying run now coming to the plate.
4th time tonight the Indians have had their leadoff man aboard. The only time they've scored in this game is when they got that leadoff man on, and that was in the 6th inning when they loaded the bases.
Haven't been able to get that key hit at any point in time.
As Dribble Cabrera looks at a first pitch strike. Cabrera pops it back as Dribble 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts against Rivera. But he is in an unenviable position now, down 0-2. Brady Sizemore waits on deck. And he strikes him out. 1 down. 3 pitches takes care of his Dribble.
Yeah, up out of the zone, helped him out there.
Brady Sizemore, as we saw earlier, 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts in his career against Rivera. Swing and a miss. Because the Indians play the Yankees so infrequently, and because they have so many young players, relatively speaking, Victor Martinez is the only Indian who has more than 1 career hit against Rivera.
Well, yeah, you only play them, you know, they come here, what do you play them, 7-8 times a year?
Yeah. And it's not every game's going to be a safe situation.
That's exactly right. It's not, you're facing him.
Missed inside, 1-1. Martinez, of course, waits on deck, and he has 2 career hits against Rivera in 8 at-bats. Only 1 extra base hit among current Indians off Rivera, and that's a double by Ben Francisco. So that's what they're up against here. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Yeah, this is just a pitch that, look at it, starts in and it continues to go in. It's off the plate, and it's a tough pitch to lay off. You know it's coming. People have been looking at it for years, saying, how can you swing it that well? Let me tell you something. Get in the batter's box, and you'll see.
Here's the 1-2. That's way inside, evens the count.
You know, and it's been that one pitch year after year after year.
And the 2-2. Brady got a piece of it to stay alive.
And this was a pitch that, you know, he can go outside and hit that outside edge. But he gets you looking in there and looking, and now all of a sudden you forget about the other 12 inches on the outside part of the plate, and it was a perfect pitch away. But he got a piece of it to stay alive. He'll come right back in again.
Struck him out, 2 down.
Every strike and every pitch in there, same spot.
And Sizemore 0 for 7 in his career against Rivera. Now Victor Martinez, the one Indian who has 2 hits. That's the most of current Indians off Rivera. In his career, Rivera has 2 wins, 2 losses, 25 saves against the Indians, 3 career home runs. That's regular season, of course. There goes the runner, and a bouncing ball, foul. Of course, I remember the game when Bill Selby got him with that drive down into the right field corner.
Didn't he hit a home run before that and it was foul?
Yeah.
And then came back and rarely, I mean, yeah, after a guy hits a home run, does he come back and do anything? And he ended up hitting a double with the bases loaded.
Tying run at the plate, bottom of the 9th. 0-1 count on Martinez. Chu takes off. It's outside. That'll be indifference. Martinez trying to keep the game alive for the Indians. Hitless on the night, 0 for 3. And a bouncing ball to first. And Rivera does it again. The Yankees snap the Indians' season-high 4-game winning streak with a 3-1 victory. Andy Pettitte gets the win. He's now 5-1. Mariano Rivera gets his 10th save of the year. Cliff Lee, another tough luck loss. He drops to 2-6.